Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Now, today's video, we've got something very, very interesting to talk about, and this is potentially a fully leaked Pokédex for Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. So this has like 103 Pokemon, which is pretty crazy, and I'm going to be going over every single one, letting you know whether I think this is real or fake at the end of it. Now, this basically, to me, does seem like it could be legitimate as well, just because of all the past rumours being proved right, such as the Chinese rumours, and there's some other rumours that were posted like 3 weeks ago with the new stuff we got like last week of all the new Pokemon in Alolan forms. They were mentioned like 18 days ago on Reddit. It says, with this link I've got anyway, so I'll put that in the description, but there was basically a leak detailing what is going to be in the game and stuff like that, and a lot of that was obviously revealed last week. And a lot of the stuff which hasn't technically been revealed yet, such as certain Pokemon such as the Snowman Pokemon and the Rugby Monkey Pokemon and all stuff like that, and Rockruff's evolution, which is a werewolf apparently, that hasn't been revealed yet, but that has been consistently reported about in different rumours. Anyway guys, I know you're eager to get into this Pokédex and find out what is in there, so let's just get started. This is on the Pokemon section on 4chan. For some reason they've got a Spice Mall thing up here, which I ain't complaining, I actually love that show, but I just don't know why that's there. But anyway, first of all, we have the starters, and obviously we know there's something up with the starters. They're a bit different than usual. As it says here, Grass varies for its Rowlet's final evolution, which is called Robin Root, which is pretty cool to be honest. So that's like based off Robin Hood. So Robin Root says Grass various. Now the rumour is apparently these starters will change form depending on what island there are. So there's 4 different islands. What I've read is like, because obviously Rowlet is Grass Flying, and Archute, which is the second one, is Grass Flying, but apparently there is Grass Flying, obviously, Pure Grass, Grass Electric, I think it is, and Grass Ground, something like that. So there's going to be 4 different types for each Pokemon, and one of them is just a pure typing. So they're going to change form apparently, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But I love the names. Rowlet, obviously, it's awesome, but Archute and Robin Root really, really like. Next up, we have Litton, and then there's Panfirm and Beltigray, which is pretty cool because, as we know, at the moment, Litton seems to have a wrestler evolution, which is kind of interesting. I'm hoping it's not firefighting. I'm hoping it's more fire dark, but you know, if there's 4 different forms and 4 different typings, then we can't really complain too much. Poplio is the Siren Pokemon, apparently the final evolution, and that's called Cyrene, which is quite nice to be honest, because it's like a chilled, peaceful Pokemon by the looks of it. Obviously, Cyrene and Serene crossed together makes sense. I think Poplio is mainly going to be Water Fairy, but again, there are the 4 various forms, so we'll have to wait and see on that. We got Pikipek, which is like everyone's favourite at the moment, the favourite bird. So it goes Pikipek, Pluckypek, which I don't know if that's too similar, but I don't know, some Pokemon I guess do evolve with similar names. And then there's Lumbird, which turns to Grass Flying. I don't know why, it just goes from normal flying to Grass Flying. And also there's going to be 2 Grass Flyings quite early on with Rowlet and Lumbird. I don't know about that, but I can see that happening, to be honest. Then we got Yungoos and Gumshoes, which we know about. I'm surprised to see Grubbin so early. Grubbin, Chargebug, Vikavolt. I thought they would be later in, but then again, bug Pokemon sometimes are quite early at the start, like Caterpie and Silcoon and Wurmple, stuff like that. So next up we have Rockruff and Wereruff, or Weeruff, I think it's Wereruff, if it's a werewolf anyway. And it's Rock Various, because again, this is similar to the starters apparently. There is a connection, that is confirmed pretty much, that there's a connection between Rockruff and the starters. And at first I was thinking, well, that's just going to be, it's got a Z move, but actually, again, this can change forms depending on what island it's on, apparently. Now it says stuff over here on the right of it, and I'm guessing that is Fighting Dark. I don't know, the other one Flying maybe, and another one I guess, maybe that just means Standard ST, but I don't know, very interesting. I could definitely see that changing forms. It apparently is a werewolf Pokemon, so we definitely know Rockruff does have an evolution, because on the Pokemon website it does mention it evolving. It goes off to evolve on its own and comes back to its trainer, and the way it describes it makes it seem like a werewolf, so that is pretty cool. Next up we have Bonsweet, which is, I really like Bonsweet. It's kind of like the apple, well, it's not an apple Pokemon, but it's like the big fruit one. And then it goes to Bontestein, I think it is, Grass Psychic. Didn't expect that. And then it goes to Bonsour, which is poison type. I really like the name Bonsour. I don't think it's going to do like a full evolution from Bonsweet to Bontestein to Bonsour. I think it might be very similar to Ninjask. So you've got obviously Nincada Ninjask and then Shed Ninja, which is kind of a different split. I think it might be something like that. Maybe like leave it fainted for ages, go sour. That would be pretty cool. Next up we have the bird one, the Oricorio, I think it's called. The birds that basically change form depending on the island, which seems to be a theme in this Pokédex, which is pretty cool. Next up we have Porsum and Possumime, which are 2 possum Pokemon, both dark. That'll definitely be an evolution. line, so they sound pretty cool, to be honest. Next up we have Comfy, which is like the kind of bracelet, well, it's not bracelet, but the flower wheel, I guess. And then there's Lyrie, another fairy Pokemon. I don't think that's going to be an evolution. I'd be very surprised, but maybe it's just 2 fairy Pokemon. But I don't know. I don't know. Comfy seemed like a weak Pokemon, but then again, Klefki never got an evolution, and I kind of compared the two, so I don't think it'll get an evolution, but we'll see. We'll see. Next up, we have Cutiefly, which is a bug fairy Pokemon, and then Adorasite, which is an awesome name. I really love that one. And that will be the evolution of Cutiefly. And I know Cutiefly is based off a bee, but apparently bees can be known as some sort of parasite. So Adorasite does make sense. I was reading up on it earlier today. I can't remember the exact thing, but it does make sense apparently. Next up, we have Normal Flying, which is Quackit. And then Fairy Flying, which is Bonene, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if they're linked at all or just next to each other in the Pokédex. Probably just next to each other. Next up, we have Beware, which is Normal Fighting. Very interesting Pokemon. And to be honest, it's not very liked. I actually quite like Beware. I know most people don't. I love the name as well. Like, Beware is awesome. Next up, we have Kamala, which is Normal. And then it evolves to Dormala, which is Normal Psychic. Again, that name actually makes sense looking at it, because obviously Kamala is very like a sleepy Pokemon. Dormala, I'm guessing they mean dormant, like it's sleeping. So Dormala, Normal Psychic, I can definitely see that. Next up we have Bruxby, which is the pre-evolution of Bruxish. I can definitely see that. Bruxish never looked like a pre-evo or something like a Pokemon that could evolve more for me. It kind of just looked like that was its final evo. So I could definitely see that. Next up, we have a very weird Pokemon now. This is called Pesp, which is Water Psychic, and Pescool, which is Water Psychic. Honestly, I just think of Pepsi as soon as I heard that. So I'm not sure about that Pokemon. I'm not sure what it could be. If anyone knows, definitely do comment down below. Next up, obviously, we do have Mudbray and Mudsdale. I love Mudsdale, the horse Pokemon, and Mudbray's awesome, so I definitely like those two. Next up is Minior or Minior, which is the rock flying Pokemon that was revealed last week. And then there's Meteor, which I do like the name of. That definitely does make sense. I wasn't too impressed by Minior, but I'm hoping Meteor will improve on its design, because I don't know, it's a very interesting Pokemon though, how it has like 2 different forms, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that could be. Next up, this is an interesting Pokemon now. It says Normal Various, Darline and Darwusker. These are the Pokemon that can be bred with anything and change their type. These are the 2 cat Pokemon. If we go on the Chinese rumors, it says there's a new cat Pokemon, varies in type and appearance based on breeding, which is an amazing idea. So definitely like the sound of that. So I guess it depends with what it breeds with, and then it will have maybe a different form for every single type. Will be amazing. So we'll see. Next up, we have kind of I think because these Pokemon are obviously in sections, I guess they are evolutions and stuff, but there are 4 Pokemon next to each other, which is pretty interesting. So we have Caterpie, Parkoon, and Flysicle, which is an amazing name. Bug Ice, a type that everyone's been wanting for quite a while. And then there's Hidjakun, which is Bug Dark. I honestly have no idea whether that again is like Shed Ninja and there's some kind of difference there, but I mean it's obviously related. I just think it might be a split evolution line, but I'm loving the names, really good names. Now next up is the Snowman that was kind of leaked, I say leaked, well yeah, leaked a while ago in terms of information, no pictures or anything about it, but it goes Snowhorn and Snorrer. Ice Ghost, pretty interesting names. I'm not a big fan of probably Snowman Pokemon, but if they pull it off well, who knows, I might actually like it. Next up, something I'm really looking forward to, Delphin and Pawprize, which I'm sure is a dolphin Pokemon, which I'm pretty sure was leaked along with a Rugby monkey, but don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that I saw that. So Pawprize is water various, again, might change forms depending on the island. That's what the various seem to be at the moment, but again, this could be something different as well, because obviously we had Darwusker and Darline, which depended on breeding, they changed their form, so we'll have to see on that. Next up is Cumbersome, which is the sea cucumber Pokemon, which again got leaked with the dolphin and the Rugby monkey. So there's Cumbersome and Anemone, which is water poison, again pretty cool. I'm not sure how amazing a sea cucumber Pokemon's going to be, but I don't know. I definitely like the names of them, and I'm sure they'll be well designed as always. Next up is Mimikyu, which is, again, we know how good that Pokemon is. Ghost Fairy. I was hoping there'd be different forms, just, you know, not just a Pikachu form, but maybe there will be in the future. Togedemaru is next, which we know about. Next up, now these are the very weird Pokemon in terms of name. Softall, which is grounded, and Panquake, which is ground dark. I am praying this isn't a pancake Pokemon, I swear. But I don't know, I'm very looking forward to seeing what Pokemon that is. So ground dark, Panquake. Should be good. Next up is the Wimipod line, or the Wimpod, sorry, the Wimpod line. I always thought Wimpod was the first Evo kind of Pokemon, but it goes Shrimpod, which is obviously just a smaller one, I guess, which is Bug. Then there's Wimpod, which is Bug Water, and then there's Champod, which is Bug Water. I'm not sure if that's like Champion, so like Champod. I don't know. Hopefully it'll grow from a Wimp to a Champ. I guess that's what it is, I guess, Wimpod to Champod. So that's Bug Water as well. Next up is a Rugby Monkey Pokemon, Gorugler, which I guess is like a gorilla. I'm not sure what a Rugby Monkey is, because obviously in England we have to sport rugby. But I'm honestly not sure what it could be. So maybe it's like a big, like, muscly monkey who kind of like looks like it could play rugby. I don't know. So it's Fighting Ground, which would make sense. Next up we have the Drampa line, and there's a pre-evo which is Drakid. Again, I can see that totally, because Drampa definitely didn't look like it could evolve anymore. And I actually like Drampa. I know it's kind of mixed a bit, but I think it's a good design, to be honest. And I could definitely see a pre-evo. Probably the pre-evo would look a bit better, maybe. I don't know. Next up is Lumage, Laspel, and Libraid. Psychic line, I guess. Psychic evolution line. Not sure what it's going to be. I'm thinking, could it be like, I don't know. I see Libraid as like a library, so maybe like, is it some sort of book kind of Pokemon? I hope not. But I don't know. Psychic. We'll have to see with that one. I don't know. Next up is Fidlob, Steel Water, and Kaluka, which is again Steel Water. A good typing. I'd like to see what that will be like. Next up we have Salandit's evolution line. Very interesting. So first of all we have a pre-evo for it called Bad Pole, which is just pure poison. Next up is Salandit, Poison Fire, with the amazing ability Corrosion. Really looking forward to using that thing. And then there's Swindleloot, which is Poison Fire. I'm loving the name for that. Swindleloot definitely sounds good. So hopefully that is legitimate. Next up we have a very, very interesting Pokemon with a very interesting type. So first of all it's Gurmick, which is grass, but then it goes to Pepire, Grass Fire, and Triburn, which is Grass Fire as well. So it does seem like this is going to be a Pepper Pokemon, which is, I've seen so many fake designs for that, which is kind of weird that they are going to do that. So I mean, if this is legitimate and they are going to do that, that is slightly weird, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up is two Pokemon we know about, Fomantis and Lurantis. I'm a big fan of Fomantis. Lurantis does look a bit weird with the stripy trousers. Honestly, don't know what's going on there. Next up we have Funky and Hallucid, Poison Fairy. Good typing. Looking forward to seeing what that could be if this is legitimate, as I said. Next up we have Cubadge, Meritote, and Stalute, which goes from Fighting to Fighting Steel. Is that like a Badger Pokemon? Very interesting. I hope so. That'd be really cool. Next up, we have some Pokemon that I'm not too keen on. They sound like Atom Pokemon. So Hydratom, Positom, and Negatom. Normal Water, Fire Water, Electric Water. They're not going to be an evolution line. They're just going to be, I think, like just a trio of different atoms, because obviously they've got quite different types. Normal Water, Fire Water, which is a very interesting typing, and Electric Water. So we'll have to see with those. Next up we've got two Steel Pokemon. Not too sure about these. Skrulooze and Structure, just Steel. I like the name Structure, to be honest, although I don't know, we'll have to see what it is. Depending on design, it should be quite cool. Next up is a Pokemon on its own called Crypty, Ice Fighting, good type, I think. So again, that's cool because it don't have any evolutions. I'm expecting a decent Pokemon for that. Next up is Dustrance, Fairy Ground. Should be good to see what that is, because normally the Pokemon at the further end of the Pokédex are quite good. Next up is Gardrake, which is Dragon, and this is like the line, I love the Dragon lines towards the end. We got Garroyal, Dragon, Torgoyle, which is Dragon Fighting, and then Forgoyle, which is Dragon Steel. So again, it sounds like there's going to be another split evolution there. Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe like Garroyal, is it? Has two different possibilities of evolution to Torgoyle or Forgoyle. Dragon Steel, good typing. Dragon Fighting, I don't think we've had that yet either, so that should be interesting. And then we have, I'm guessing, Legendary Trio perhaps. Cosmot, Dark Electric, Spectrodon, Dark Electric, and Quasar, Dark Electric. Now, the only thing I can say about this, it sounds very similar to the fake Pokédex we had ages ago, which I reported on, and it did mention a Quasar Pokemon and a Cosmic Pokemon. So again, I'm not sure whether they're just drawing inspiration from that or whether this is legitimate. As I said, it's hard to tell at this point. Next up though, we do have the 4 island deities. So obviously Tapu Koko, we know, Electric Fairy, Tapu Pipi, Fire Fairy, Tapu Paloka, Psychic Fairy, and Tapu Mano, Ghost Fairy. So those are the 4 types: Electric, Fire, Psychic, Ghost, that a lot of people theorize. Very similar, in fact exactly the same as the bird Pokemon. I can't remember the name of that now. Oricoro or Oricoro or something. You know, the bird dancing Pokemon. Anyway, it has the same types as that, which suggests there's going to be a type for each island, which we obviously think is the case. So I do think those are legitimate, which kind of does help the theory, and the names do sound pretty bang on, to be honest, what I'd expect. Finally though, we have Solgaleo, Psychic Steel, Lunala, Psychic Ghost, and Malshadow, Dark Fire. Apparently there is some information on Malshadow or Marshadow as it was trademarked. About its typing can change, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And then finally we got Magearna, Steel Fairy. I'm pretty sure we'll have some more event Pokemon, but I could be wrong. So it goes up to 825, which is a lot of Pokemon. As you guys know, we ended on 721 last time with Volcanion, so that is 103 new Pokemon. So guys, let me know in the comments, real or fake. I'm going to go on out a limb and follow the other PokeTubers on this. I think this is real, to be honest, especially with all the other rumors we've had recently about the Chinese rumors and other rumors being proved right. I don't see why this one can't be, especially since the names seem very spot on. They don't seem quite fake. Like the last list had like H2O something, but then, I mean, again, that had Atom Pokemon in it, so maybe that one was legitimate to an extent. I might go back and compare the two lists on my own, see what they are, but I do think this is legitimate. So let me know in the comments below whether you think this is real or fake. We do have new news on August the 12th, which is a Friday, so if any of these Pokemon that are on this list pop up, definitely expect this list to be real. That's really why I'm reporting on this. Normally I wouldn't report on this kind of stuff, but since we do have a new reveal coming on Friday, if there are, you know, there's a new Pokemon revealed that isn't on this list, I'm calling this fake. But for now, I do think it's real. So guys, let me know, as I said in the comments, real or fake. And if you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like. It's always appreciated. And if you're new around here, guys, and you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Go, definitely hit the subscribe button to join the Twintendo Nation today. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace!